Welcome back. Last month's murders in Ipswich provoked a lot of debate about prostitution and whether Britain should introduce tolerance zones or even licensed brothels. But in Amsterdam, which is famous for its legal and very public red light district, the city council wants to close down around a third of its window brothels. Today, an appeal by brothel owners brought a stay of execution until May, but the axe still hangs over the sex trade, as Thomas Adamson-Cambusis reports now from Amsterdam.
The neon lights of Amsterdam, attracting thousands of tourists a year. In the red light district, the scantily clad women line up behind the glass in the window brothels. But now, these brothels may well be banished to the history books. They face closure because the council is clamping down on money laundering and people trafficking and blames the brothel owners. These alleyways have been a magnet for prostitutes and their clients since the 17th century, a culture captured in art and literature. But the legalisation of brothels over the last decade has led the state to intervene more in their running. Now this has resulted in licences being refused for more than 130 window brothels.
It's not an attack on prostitution itself. However, we did legalise it, but we never took the steps to enforce the law in a way so that women are really protected. We've seen too much criminal activities around the prostitution. And I think it's an obligation, if you legalise prostitution, to take the second step as well and to really protect the women involved, because that's what we promised.
Claims of links to organised crime are strongly denied by the 9 brothel owners facing the loss of their lucrative enterprises. The biggest player in the red light district is Dutch porn baron Fat Charlie Geertz. His lawyer says that previous investigations proved his client had no connection with criminal activities.
But of course he's worried, and he's worried about the area and the neighborhood, because imagine what will happen if you shut down 1/3 of this area and as he said, all the windows will go dark. That will be a total disaster, I think, economically for the whole city. Not only for the women who work there, and if you talk about 100 windows, you talk about 100 women who work daytime, 100 who work nighttime, so that's 200 a day people who get unemployed and for whom there is no other alternative. But also, you know, the cafes, the restaurants, the hotels in the area, it will be a total disaster.
Certainly, women who've worked as prostitutes are worried, saying these windows are ideal for those in the industry. Metja Black, an ex-prostitute who works for the prostitutes union Red Thread, fears that more than 200 women will be pushed onto the streets and put in danger.
Omdat als je in zo'n kamer werkt, dan heb je enigszins controle.
When you're working in a window brothel cabin, you have control. There's an alarm button you can push to alert people if something happens. But when you pick up on the street, you can get in the car with Jack the Ripper. The mayor thinks the girls are going to disappear and find work legally. But for many it's not so easy, and girls will be forced to work in illegal brothels where there are no doctors to inspect their health.
Though the red light district is not dangerous for paying tourists, cameras are strictly unwelcome.
We've just been physically threatened for trying to film outside a window brothel by the men that are there to protect the women. If these are to close, not even this kind of protection will be allowed.
Mariska Majur, an ex-prostitute who founded the Prostitution Information Centre, says the brothel owners provide proper protection and cannot be confused with street pimps.
A pimp is somebody who is forcing you to work in the sex industry, sometimes with a lot of violence, and it's usually a criminal organization or a wrong boyfriend. Somebody who owns a window brothel or a sex club, for example, is somebody who is offering facilities, safe circumstances to work in. He's no pimp and no criminal in a normal situation.
So are you saying that they're actually punishing the wrong people? These people have nothing to do with this criminal activity?
Well, our local authorities want to solve the problem around trafficking in people, and then, yes, they have the wrong people, because the problems here are happening on the street.
Though today the council delayed a deadline for the brothel closures until May, with recent plans to restrict access to Amsterdam's cannabis cafes and clear out its long-established squats, it looks like the curtain is drawing for Amsterdam as the shop window of social liberalism. Thomas Adamson-Cambusis, More 4 News, Amsterdam.